Welcome to Tri-Valley Sports Final, your program for the best in local sports action. On this week's show, Andre Armendariz is outstanding as the Dublin Gales kick off their football season against the Berkeley Yellow Jackets. Quarterback Tessa Kinney leads the way as the Livermore Cowboys flag football team faces Dublin. And the Samantha Patel to Taylor Sullivan connection comes up big as the Dublin Gales go on the road to take on Kip King Collegiate. All that plus action from the Dublin United Shamrock Soccer Tournament featuring the Livermore and Dublin U16 girls and much more right here on Tri-Valley Sports Final. Welcome back to Tri-Valley Sports Final. I'm Ian Bartholomew. On this week's show, we'll begin our fall high school sports coverage with football as the Dublin Gales take on Berkeley. We'll also have girls flag football as Dublin squares off against both Livermore and Kip King. And we'll wrap up the summer season with action from the Dublin United Shamrock Tournament. But to get us started with football, it's my co-host, Tim Sobranti.
That's right. Thank you, Ian. And after finishing with the record of 2-2 in the ABL's Valley Division last year, Dublin football team has their sights set on a league title. The Gales return a talented lineup, including all-league running back Andre Armendariz and quarterback Lincoln Trias. Last week, Dublin looked to start the season on a winning note as they hosted the Berkeley Yellow Jackets. And we pick it up from Gales Stadium. Colorful crowd on hand, and there's head coach Napoleon Kaufman calling in the signal, and here we see quarterback Lincoln Trias rolling to his right, eludes the defender, gets it to Tyrus Campbell, who gets forward for 18 yards and a Gales first down. Next we see Andre Armendariz, some hard running up the middle, picking up another first down out near midfield after a 10-yard gain. And then Trias now throwing deep. And there's Campbell again down the right sideline, pushed out of bounds after a 33-yard gain. The Gales in the red zone, and they would finish this drive right here as Andre Armendariz sweeps to his left. Actually, this one is not the touchdown. He gets down to the 5-yard line. And then what he'll do next is, after getting it down to the 5, virtually untouched, into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Gales take the early lead at that point. So then we see on defense, Tyler Gray. He would end up having a big night defensively for the Gales. Here we see the stop at the line of scrimmage, actually a loss of yardage there. And then we're going to see more defense. This time it's Malachi Smith. That pass is completed, but there would be no gain on the play. Dasani Goodspeed, Johnny Delgado also converging on the tackle. And now there it is again, Tyler Gray. He gets the sack. Gray would have a big night. He was in the backfield all night long, providing defensive pressure for the Gales. And then we see Lincoln Trias. We saw his arm earlier, and now we see his versatility, fighting his way forward and picking up a first down for the Gales. And their offense, Andre Armendariz, we see him again. I think we're going to be calling his name a lot this season. Gets down the left side, picks up another big gain. He finished strong last year, looking to have a great year this year, off to a great start. Lincoln Trias now. Pass, and gets it down. And then here we see again, there is Armendariz. Fights his way forward, pickup of 10. And then we see quarterback Lincoln Trias into the end zone. Quarterback sneak, his first rushing touchdown. Dublin at that point up 21-0. And then healthy dose of Armendariz helping to pace that Dublin offense. There's another 10-yard gain and another first down. Now Trias over the top. You guessed it, Andre Armendariz, his target, gets a first down to the 5-yard line. And when you've worked that hard to get into scoring position, you get the rock and you punch it into the end zone for a 5-yard touchdown run. He would finish the night 3 touchdowns, 174 yards rushing. Big night for him, big night for the Gales. You see it there with Armendariz again, 174 yards, 3 scores. Lincoln Trias running for a touchdown, passing for one as the Gales win. Dublin jumped out to a 42-0 lead in the third quarter. never looked back. This was an outstanding start for the Gales, no doubt.
Yeah, and a lot of contributions in this game. Of course, Trias and Armendariz were outstanding. Rome Raymore, an 81-yard touchdown catch. And the defense got a touchdown, too, and fumble work.
Well, and even the special teams. But I would say this is you could see the team speed. I think that's going to be one of the key trademarks of the Gales. And you see that they have a balanced attack as well, both offensively and defensively. So I think it could be a fun year for Dublin.
And we have a few other local scores in other games. All-EBL quarterback Matteo Lordi passes for 334 yards and 2 touchdowns at Livermore Routes Castro Valley, 51-19. Defending NCS Division I and NorCal Division III champion Amador Valley goes on the road and loses a close one to California State 3A champion Vander, 21-14. Max Suga catches 8 passes for 172 yards and 2 scores, but it's not enough as Foothill falls at Monte Vista 49-23, and Campolino defeats defending EBAL Valley Division champion Granada 42-7. So big opening game win by Livermore. Amador, Foothill, and Granada, meanwhile, will try to notch their first victories this week.
Well, and I think for all three of them, I mean, those are tough teams to open up against. I mean, Amador Valley opening up against the state champ.
Right.
You know, you got Granada opening up against a perennial power in Campolino, and Foothill stepping up in class going up to Monte Vista. So, you know, I think that'll help prepare them down the line.
And that's going to do it for football. Up next, we're going to have girls flag football as Livermore takes on Dublin, and Dublin squares off against Kip King. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Tri-Valley Sports Final. It promised to be a close, exciting matchup as a pair of improved EBAL flag football squads recently squared off in Livermore. The Livermore Cowboys taking on the Dublin Gales. And we go out to Livermore. Cowboys head coach James Petersdorf talking to his team. Pick it up in the first quarter. Cowboys try some trickery. Tessa Kinney pitches to Addison Rippey, who throws downfield, but it's intercepted by Dublin basketball star Taylor Sullivan. The sophomore comes up with a nice return. Livermore's defense, though, holds. 4th down and goal. Bailey Becerra with the sack. The Gales come away empty. More good defense, this time by Dublin. Rippey takes the pitch, but Kieran Sheargull is there with the tackle for a loss. Cowboys come right back, though. Tessa Kinney looks deep and fires into the end zone. Jalen Strahan makes the catch for the touchdown. Livermore jumps out to a 6-0 lead. Cowboys now attempt a conversion. Kinney fires to Bailey Becerra. That increases the lead to 7-0. Dublin tries to answer. Samantha Battelle looks downfield and connects with Yen Tai. Close to midfield. Omri Johnson with the tackle. Battelle then passes to Valentina Padilla, who cuts it upfield before being stopped by Bailey Becerra. Later in the drive, Battelle looks to her favorite target, Taylor Sullivan. She's brought down by Omri Johnson just short of the goal line, a 26-yard gain. And to cap off the drive, Battelle fires to Sullivan for the score. Taylor had 4 catches for 57 yards. That cuts the lead to 7-6. Gales now try for the extra point. Sullivan stretches it out for the cone. That ties the game at 7. Livermore responds as their sophomore quarterback Tessa Kinney tosses to Bailey Becerra for a big gain. Moments later, Kinney rolls to her left, screens to her right to Becerra once again. She makes a couple of nice moves, but being brought down by Rain Hazen. The drive, however, would stall. Dublin takes over. They pitch to Valentina Padilla, who slips a couple of tackles before being brought down by Shelby Souza. Next play, Battelle lost it up to Sullivan. She's stopped by April Villa-Diaz. Gales now again look to pass. Battelle fires, but is intercepted by Addison Rippey. Nice play by the senior. At the half, we are all tied up at 7. During the intermission, Coach Petersdorf talks to his crew, while Dublin coach Nikisha Harris meets with her squad. Third quarter now, Tessa Kinney rolls out to her left. She keeps it herself, sprinting upfield for a big gain before being stopped by Sheargull. 2 plays later, Kinney drops back, avoids the rush, tucks it in and races out to the 35-yard line. The drive continues as Kinney looks and connects with Addison Rippey for a first down in Dublin territory. Now Kinney passes to Bailey Becerra, who turns it upfield. She stopped just short of the end zone. First down and goal now from the 3. Kinney decides to keep it herself. She races into the end zone for the touchdown. The 2-point conversion is no good. Livermore regains the lead 13-7. Cowboys now crank up the defense. Padilla takes the pitch, but is thrown for a loss by Elizabeth Ezell. Livermore gets the ball back. Kinney under heavy pressure. Throws to Harper Pullum. She gets it to the 40. Next play, Kinney pitches back to Shelby Souza, who cuts it upfield before being brought down in Dublin territory. Now Kinney drops back. Again, manages to avoid the rush. She races upfield, slips a tackle for being brought down by Rain Hazen. As we start the 4th, Cowboys again look to pass. Kinney escapes the pressure and connects with Shelby Souza. And that sets up this play as Kinney rolls to her left and fires to Souza, who slips into the end zone for the score. The 2 sophomores combine for the touchdown. That increases Livermore lead to 19-7. Gales try to answer, but the pass is intercepted by Addison Rippey, her second pick of the game. Dublin would get the ball back one more time. Samantha Patel connects with Taylor Sullivan for a big gain. But the drive ends there as April Villa-Diaz intercepts the pass. She makes a nice return. That seals it. Good sportsmanship by both teams as Livermore gets past Dublin in a thriller 19-7. Quarterback Tessa Kinney throws for 2 touchdowns and runs for another as the Cowboys win. Afterwards, Livermore head coach James Petersdorf said he was pleased with how his team played.
I'm really happy with where we jumped from last year to this year. I thought we finished last year really well, and then it rolled into this year. They had a great summer. They worked really, really hard, and it was nice to see the outcome of what that was. We're really fast this year. We have a nice mixture of seniors and sophomores who are all together. So I don't see there's a lot of games we can't compete in and win. As long as we're focused and we do our jobs.
Good win by Livermore. Their defense was outstanding as they limited Dublin to only 7 points while forcing 3 turnovers, and they made some big plays on offense in the second half.
No doubt. And you can see their improvement is evident. A lot of those players that were younger now, a year older, we see them making strides. We're also seeing Dublin making strides as well. So good battle, and we'll watch more of them, both teams, later in the year. But now we're going to see from Dublin taking on Livermore, we're going to go to Dublin taking on the KIPP Collegiate Lions. This one taking place in San Lorenzo. And we see the teams before the game shaking hands on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And there's the Gales as they break the huddle. And we'll start the action with Raina Hazen right here. Rain Hazen running for a nice gain. She's one of those girls who was a freshman last year, now a sophomore. Samantha Patel, the senior quarterback. She gets the pass to Presley Kirkhow. Again, only a sophomore. Rain Hazen now with the carry, sweeping around the left side. And it does a nice job there. And then Samantha Patel eludes the rush and gets it over the middle. Finds Valentina Padilla. But then we see Patel with the deep throw over the middle to one of her key weapons, Taylor Sullivan, for the touchdown. Dublin on top early, 6-0. And then Patel on the conversion, fakes the handoff, and then sweeps herself around the right side into the end zone. So Dublin up early, 7-0. Rain Hazen, as you can see, having a big game for Dublin. Here you see, gets past the defender in the backfield, picks up some positive yardage. And then we see Patel, this time over the top. Taylor Sullivan, another touchdown. Dublin increases its lead at that point to 13-0. Now we see the snap into the end zone, safety for the Gales. So Dublin gets the ball back, and there's Samantha Patel. She finds Valentina Padilla in traffic. Very nice catch there. And now we see Patel, a dual threat weapon on the offensive side. She goes forward for a nice gain. And then it would be Patel this time using her arm, connecting with her favorite target, Taylor Sullivan, across the middle. Sullivan would finish with 77 yards and 2 touchdowns on the afternoon. Now Patel finds Kennedy Phillips. That's a 5-yard touchdown. Dublin up on, at that point, 21-0. And then we see on the conversion, over in traffic, and there's Presley Kirkhow with the catch. The Gales not just doing it on offense, also doing it on the defensive end. Here we see Kirkhow and Jessica Verdier. They combine on the stop. And then we finish with this little push pass to Leila Villalobos, 1-yard touchdown. Gales up at that point 29-0, and they would go on to win. You see the final score there, 41-12. Samantha Patel passing for 136 yards and 4 scores. Taylor Sullivan also passing for a touchdown, runs for a touchdown, has 2 touchdown receptions. So a good game for her and a good game for the Gales.
Yeah, and a good confidence builder this game. And they've gone forward from this game. They gave San Ramon Valley all they could want. They've been in every game this year, shut out Doherty Valley. So Gales are in the midst of a nice season.
No doubt about that. And, want to just congratulate head coach Nikisha Harris. She's really put in the work, and you're seeing it show with the girls. The numbers are up, JV and varsity, and they're having a lot of success on the field.
And that's going to do it for flag football. Up next, we're going to go to the Dublin United Shamrock Soccer Tournament, as we'll see the Livermore Fusion 2010 Gold and the Dublin United 10G girls teams in action. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Tri-Valley Sports Final. For decades, the Dublin United Shamrock Tournament has been one of the summer's premier club soccer events. This year was no exception, as boys and girls teams ranging from under 9 years of age to under 16 battled for tournament championships. One of the top brackets was the girls under 16s. There, the Livermore Fusion 2010 Gold squared off against Sierra United SC Navy for a chance to advance to the finals. We go out to the Dublin Sports Grounds. Livermore breaks the huddle, led by head coach Kristen De Cesare, leading at this point 3-0 as they send it into the middle. It's headed to Isabel Hollinger for the shot, but it's just a little bit high. In the second half, the Fusion continue to play aggressive. Here they cross, but it's saved by goalie Jillian Grossen. This time, Lauren Cowley takes the corner kick, and it just misses Elena Yip in the box. Fusion now go on the attack. Once again, they pass to Quinn Mosley, who dribbles and shoots, and scooped up by Grossen. Now, Coraline Crawford races past the defense, creates some space, and shoots just off the side of the goal. Moments later, Crawford does it again, but Grossen is there to scoop it up. Livermore would also play great defense. Here, Sophia Ehrig deflects the corner kick to her teammate, who kicks it out. And this time, goalie Gabriella Bridgman makes a nice diving save. Yip now tries to chip it into the goal, but Grossen makes the grab. A Sierra penalty kick will cut the lead to 3-1, but the Fusion are able to put the game away. Here, Mariela Rodriguez Rivera fires it past the goalie. She is congratulated by her teammates. And that seals it as the Livermore Fusion 2010 Gold defeats Sierra United 4-1. There you see the final score as Livermore wins. The Fusion would go on to win the championship as they defeat IR Academy Purple 3-2 in penalty kicks in the finals. So congratulations to them and their coaching staff. Great job.
Yeah, great tournament, and this is another one that has a long-standing tradition, the Shamrock Tournament, and it's always great to see when one of our local teams comes out and wins it. From the U16 girls semifinal, we're going to go to the other undefeated Dublin United, 10G taking on IR Academy 10G Purple of Elk Grove. So we pick up the action with Dublin huddling at the half, trailing 2-0. And here we see the corner kick. This one would ultimately be cleared out though. And ultimately the save there by the goalie, Caitlin Smith. We see another shot on goal, but there's Smith again to corral it. And they're fighting, and we got a loose ball. It ends up being. Dublin does get the shot on goal. Ultimately, that one would also be saved by Caitlin Smith. This time again, Caitlin Smith. So Dublin is attacking, just not able to find the back of the net. This one pass over the top, a little bit wide, rolls out of bounds. And then on the deflection there, getting a nice job scooping it up. And that will do it. So really good job by Smith in the second half. Dublin ends up falling 2-0. 2 first half goals are the difference as they go on to go undefeated and previously undefeated Dublin, but still a good tournament for Dublin despite this loss. And I think we saw in the second half, Dublin had a number of opportunities, but just unable to convert, but still a good tournament. Yeah,
their goalie did a nice job. And actually, Dublin defeated Livermore in the first game of the tournament, the eventual champion Livermore. So they played very well throughout.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes, yeah. So we'll be back with more right after these messages, so please stay with us.
Welcome back to Tri-Valley Sports Final. On our next show, we'll have more football. We hope to see both Foothill and Livermore. Falcons travel to Castro Valley while the Cowboys host Sacramento. We'll also have more flag football as the Amador Valley Dons visit Livermore, and we'll try to bring you some Dublin boys and girls water polo action as well. And both teams off to a good start for Dublin.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as the calendar turns to September, it's great to see all the different sports, coming into full, not just football, which we obviously cover, but you see flag, you see water polo, everything else. Volleyball we'll get to.
Got some cross-country races coming up.
Yeah, so it's a fun time of year.
That's going to do it for this edition of Tri-Valley Sports Final. For Tim Sabrani, I'm Ian Bartholomew. Thanks for watching. See you next week.